Are you in perimenopause? Not sure? This is how you can tell. If you're over the age of 38, starting to have some irregular periods, and sometimes you may still have regular periods and still be in perimenopause. So we start noticing a shift in hormones, and basically one of the first hormones to go off whack is progesterone. And so things that you might notice is heavier periods, irregular periods, longer periods without a period, feeling moody, irritable, complaining of fatigue, weight gain. So we actually have estrogen and progesterone receptors on every cell of our body, not just in our uterus and on our breasts, where regular, docs and gynecologists only think about perimenopause, about what the effect is on the uterus and looking at bleeding patterns. It's really it's on blood vessels. So that's where we have vasomotor symptoms. So hot sweats, night flashes, feeling cold, feeling hot, on our neurons in our brain, so mood, irritability, problems with sleep. Each hormone has a different effect on neurotransmitters. So estrogen basically helps with serotonin, so it's our happy hormone. So as we start losing that, our mood could be down, and it also helps with acetylcholine, which is our memory. All of a sudden it's like, where did I leave my keys? What did I do? And we don't remember. And then progesterone binds to the GABA receptor. Well, that's where Ativan, it's a natural tranquilizer and sleep aid. So all of a sudden, people tend to be more moody, irritable, bitchy, and really it's a hormonal dysfunction that's starting to happen. And often when you do blood work, you may or may not catch that imbalance happening, but it's listening to the story that sort of tips you off that you're actually starting to have perimenopause and menopause. Or menopausal is obviously, once you've done your period, but the perimenopause period actually is way longer than we ever thought. Originally, we thought that perimenopause was 2 years or maybe 5 years before you're finishing your periods, but it actually might be 12 to 15 years. And so if you kind of go back, the average age of menopause, somewhere between 50, 55, it keeps kind of coming down. You go back, so that's late 30s, right? And so a lot of women are still kind of having their babies or trying to have their babies then, and then all of a sudden they have their babies, and then their hormones really start going out of whack. And then, they feel depressed, anxious, weight gain, like all these other things, and people are kind of missing the boat, or they're telling you, yeah, you're fine, there's nothing wrong with you, but that's not true. So there are things that are happening, physiologically, that's affecting our mood, our well-being, our weight, our ability to, concentrate. Perimenopause has been really having a moment. It's all of a sudden big in the press, in the news, on Instagram, and really, it's been around for a really long time, but so glad that thankfully that people are now paying attention. So many women, nobody was identifying them as being in perimenopause and just told, put up with it. They would come to see me and I'm like, no, all your symptoms, they can be accounted for, and there's a reason for it, and there's something we can actually do about it. We can make those changes, and Vitality has helped fill the gap for more than 16 years, treating perimenopause and menopausal women and validating them for their symptoms, and that they're not going crazy, and that, there's a reason for it. So book an appointment, get the help you need, and let's start the conversation.